Anyway, hi, it's Simon, the Mad Busker. I'm doing this. This is kind of a test of the tech, the tech nonsense to see if this gets on a Facebook or not. Because I've had problems in the past, so I want to try to see if this is going to work. And then that's about it. I'm not. I am going to play Simon's Dive Bar Sunday night at 8 o'clock. But right now, I'm just here to test the network, but also I do want to say a couple of things about life. First of all, I do not support this fucking war. All right, I'm an older gentleman, and I've been through this. I've been through this fucking bullshit already. Not that I've been in any kind of wars out there in the army, but I was a kid in the Vietnam era, and then I was already, like 40 something through the Iraq war, and it's like it's enough already. Okay, I don't support this shit. I don't support these rich people and these assholes doing the same shit over and over again. Us as working class people and as peasants, we're expendable to them. We're just fertilizer to these fucks. So fuck them too. I ain't gonna support this shit. All right, fuck this war. Peace. And the ruling class does whatever the fuck they want to do because they got the money, and so I do not support this shit in any way. I gotta just make sure people understand this. The other thing I just wanted to say is about life in general. I have came back from the MOOCs, and we did a few things like, December or whatever. And the reality of it is that I can't be on the road all the time with the MOOCs. The MOOCs is just part of the picture. The slackers are very busy, and I love doing it, but it can't be the whole thing for me. So I've kind of more drifted into, I'm playing a few local gigs, but I've changed a lot of my shit. I don't really go around groveling and begging for gigs. A lot of the scene has changed out here in Rockaway. Like I'm not really playing the concession stands on the boardwalk, hardly at all. They got took over by some other entity. Some other entity took them over a few years ago, and as things move along, I'm just not really getting, except for Rippers, I'm really not getting any respect there or any gigs. And I'm not going to go where I don't get respect. I'm not going to go where I have to grovel or beg. I would rather busk. And I have now, like, the good season of the year now through October, when I can get out there on the boardwalk and just busk. And for me, it's like I'm in control of the means of production. I can just go out there with my stuff and either play my jazz music or get together with my buddies and we play our Latin music. And I don't have to promote myself, try to sell myself. I don't have to try to, twist people's arm to get them to go to a club. I could just go out there and busk. If I'm playing a gig in the city, I may very well bring my battery with me, and after or before the gig, just go out in the subway and play for an hour. And I'm also going to go, if it's cold or shitty weather, I may go on this format once in a while. I don't want to overdo it, but I will come on here and do the digital busking. But I still do play clubs, but I just don't play as many clubs as I used to, because I'll tell you the truth, I'm not out of gas when it comes to playing music or my love of life, but when it comes to, like, okay, at this point in my career, having been playing music now for oh shit, 57 years. Yeah, 50, 57 years I've been playing now, plus a couple of months. And so I don't really want to just go with my hat in my hand to some place I've never played before that doesn't know me and doesn't care about me, and try to like get it, there's also things. Look, I'm not a victim. That's why I refuse to feel sorry for myself or be a victim in any way, shape, or form. So I do face some age discrimination now, which in America, that's the way it goes. But I mean, fuck it. Other people have faced much worse forms of discrimination than I. So while I notice it and I know it's real, I don't really let it stop me from doing what my mission in life is. So I'm not going to go to some hipster or gentrified part of the city and go to some like hipster bar and beg them for a gig. Cold calling. It's like I just go where it's warm. I go where I am going to get some respect. And in the end, I'm going to be just playing the street more, the boardwalk anyway, and busking more. I have not completely, given up. Like the MOOCs, we are going to do a few things. We're going to go up the East Coast and then play in Montreal this summer. And then the next month, we're going to go out to British Columbia and play Vancouver and some other places. So we just put out 4 records in a year. It's not like we're, it's just that right at this time, we can't really do very much. And I kind of have this philosophy in my life, which is called radical acceptance, which is just to take things the way they are and make the best of them, because uh, I see this time and time again in history. You expand. It's like whether you're an empire or a business or some other kind of thing. You expand and you expand, right? In my case, I expanded. Last year was like probably one of the best years of my musical career. I would say the heyday of the Worms, when we were touring and we put that record out, and we were just getting into a whole lot of trouble. That was great. And a few years later, after I cleaned up, the early years of the Bar Sinisters, when we were, I've been in 2 bands that we ruled on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, the birthplace of punk rock. So I've done that. The MOOCs, I just had the best, year in a long time with the MOOCs. We were just touring and we put all these records out. But see, anything that expands, it's going to come to a plateau where it may go down. It's like a graph. And the way that I would destroy myself is to insist on this continued skyrocketing upward progression and this growth, and rationalize and justify why I feel entitled to that, and then becoming really distraught or butthurt that it's not continuing, and just spiraling on that shit. And that's some shit that I I cannot afford to do. I did have to deal emotionally with not being on the road. And then I had to face, I went through a breakup last year, and I was able to not deal with it until deal with it mentally, emotionally, till I come off the road because I was too busy. And then deal with my broken ankle, like the PSTD from that, and then deal with the political situation in my country, which really kind of blows albatross dicks right now. So, uh, I'm instead of worrying about all this shit, I'm just embracing this next phase. And I got these gigs around here. I got one gig at the concessions. I used to play there 9 times a year, but uh, some other entities took that over, and it's not run by local neighborhood people anymore. It's run by these other entities that are more like extractive, kind of shit. And luckily, I have a couple of places where I can easily get a gig with 1 or 2 texts or 1 or 2 calls. And that's kind of my yardstick for me if I'm going to play someplace. Is easy to get a gig and do I get treated with respect? So no more groveling. And like I said, I'm just going to take it to the streets. Like I just played the street today, playing my jazz music. And I don't, and I ran into a whole bunch of people I hung out with, conversated with them, and it's just a different phase now. Uh, so that's where I'm at, and I really just, like fuck this war. I got to tell you the truth. Even my friends and neighbors that were very conservative kind of people, we're all saying this shit. We're saying like we are very embarrassed and ashamed right now, okay, to be from this place. And the fucking, like, here we go again. Here we go again. Vietnam again. They never learned. They never learned. But I'll tell you why they never learned. Look at history. Look at what happened to the Roman Empire. Look what happened to the Ottoman Empire. Look what happened to look what happened to the Yazis when you don't learn from. There's obviously a lot of money to be made off this horse shit, and that's why it's being done. So all I got to say to my fellow working class people of the world, my fellow proletarians, is up the working class, eat the rich, and peace. And um and thank you for the chats, because now I know this fucking tech shit works. Uh, I will see you Sunday, 8 o'clock for Simon's Dive Bar. And thank you very much. Over and out, comrades.